All right, we clapped. We clapped. I have a 1, 2, 3, sync. I do have a question. Are we allowed to cuss in this podcast?
I said say whatever you want.
Okay,
Yeah.
say whatever I want.
You got this. Unfiltered.
You know, opening up the Bible for a second.
It doesn't mean unfiltered, but no F words.
Right. Oh, well, you never know. Some people, I don't know what you do on the podcast. Maybe you do a little check mark that says, hey, this is explicit.
All of them are explicit.
I hope so. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name.
I feel like we have to clap again.
Oh, clap. Okay, ready?
I love you so much.
Okay. We're here. We're doing it.
Hey, guys.
Well, hello. Hi, everyone. Oh, you do your intro first.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Y'all, I am so excited. Welcome back to This Is Temporary Podcast. My friend Jonathan, because I'm a fan of him.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm a fan of Lacey, and that's just Lacey fun.
Lacey fun.
Heart fun.
This is my friend.
Oh, no, she touches my heart because she's Lacey. Holy shit, Lacey heart cell. Oh, you make my heart feel so bumpity bump right now.
Do I make your heart sail?
No, it doesn't, but it goes bumpity bump.
God.
Yes, because sailing to me, it's like you're so far away. I don't want to float with your heart. Instead, I just want to feel that, you know, that short interaction of bumpity bump, and then we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can go on your way, and then I'll go somewhere else.
I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you too.
You guys, I am so happy. Okay, I'm gonna say your name right. Jonathan Gaurano.
Hello.
He is my dear friend.
Aww.
And he's also a creative storyteller like myself, but in a couple of different outlets. He creates creative stories for companies, for influencers. He has his own podcast. You should check it out. It's called Spill the Pho. I know how to say it right.
Yes, you do. Oh my gosh, yes. Some people say faux, and I'm like, what are you doing?
It's me. I say it wrong most of the time, and I will not say
It's
it
a
wrong
learning
anymore.
experience. We're all learning.
No, we are.
I thought parentheses for the entire lifespan of my life was parentakey. So like, you know, it happens.
Parentakey?
Yes, no one really corrected.
That.
Yeah, no one really corrected me for a long time. They all thought I was just joking around, and then it's parentheses.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know where I thought I should have read the word first, but I guess I did not.
Well, that's the thing. Even right now, a lot of people are getting the systemic versus systematic confused.
Oh, yes.
With systemic racism. And I even wrote systemic racism is the pandemic on my poster for one of the protests. And I would say it incorrectly, although I wrote it correctly.
Right.
So I think we do that a lot where we think we're saying something right. And I know systematic is a word too, but it
Systematic
is
is the
different
word,
than
yes.
what we're talking about.
Exactly. So, hey, we're learning, you know?
We're learning. Yeah.
Of course, that's like a stronger
Right. You don't want to get that one wrong. Grow as you go. The heart was there.
Yes.
But Jonathan and I, we connect on so many levels. But also, obviously, we do. But under This Is Temporary's umbrella of mental health,
Right.
We experience manic depression. And you experience full mania, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, and I'm hypomanic bipolar too.
Oh yes, that's one way we connect. When I first met you, and then you were so open about it, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm always open about it, but I'm always open about it in like a very hilarious way. Like I'll just like bring it up. Like when something goes down, I'll be like, well, you know, it's not as bad as, you know, when I try to kill myself, right, guys? And then we all laugh, and then they're like, wait a second, what? But then that's how I like bring it out.
Yeah.
But you do it in a very joking way. Like you're like, hey guys, I do have this, and I want to talk about it.
Yeah,
you know?
but I in my comfort zone, I've learned to joke.
Right.
With the people that understand, you know what I mean? Like, the people who don't get it certainly can't make the same jokes.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I know it's what we had to default to feel in control oftentimes, especially concerning the mental health stigma.
To feel accepted by my peers, I have to joke about what I have.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I've learned.
Because it's misunderstood.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, it's no big deal.
Yeah. How do they accept me, and how do they know that I struggle through this? Oh, I'll make them laugh first.
Yeah.
And then if they want to talk about it later, then I'll bring it up.
Right.
You know?
But it's still, it comes from, do you think, a place, kind of an outcry in a way? I'm not saying
definitely.
a pity me, but I'm saying in a way of like, please understand me.
Yes, exactly.
Because I feel that.
I don't like when people pity me or sympathize with me, but what I've learned is I study comedy.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm a storyteller, and I help influencers and, you know, brands, you know, make money online.
Right.
But a lot of the influencers that I work with, they're comedians.
Right.
And so what I've learned from them is the best way to get your pain out there is to joke. Mm-hmm. And then it's through that joke that people begin to empathize with you.
Sure.
And so
it's relatable.
Right. And so if I try to find that funny, then bring out my fear, my weak points, hey, I am screaming for help, but in a way that makes someone laugh.
Right.
Then when it's time to right, and then when it's time to go into the serious moments when you're alone in the back room or you're in the car together and those long drives. Yeah. Ooh, maybe Ariana Grande is playing in the background, Moonlight. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's when they can go, hey, you know what? You struggle through this. Let's talk about it.
Right, and it puts you in control.
Yes.
You're in control of how you're putting it out there.
Right. Oh,
and the point is, you are putting it out there. Most people don't. Most people are afraid to. And that's a huge question I've gotten in response to the creation of This Is Temporary podcast and my lives that I've done about mental health is people talking about how they are afraid. And how do you think we step past that fear? Because I know you and I are both very open people.
Yes.
But what would you say, like, what are some of the ways to step past that fear into being vulnerable and opening up about finding your way to open up about your mental health struggles?
Okay, so we're going to look at this kind of like in two lenses, because saying, hey, Jonathan, how do you open up and provide some sort of, suggestion to people that are listening that are trying to open up, right?
Right.
I want to first start off by saying that you and I believe, are very fortunate and lucky. Like, we have the privilege of either our environment or this innate thing inside of us to be able to express ourselves and articulate in a way that is very, very vocal.
Right. And everyone's expression won't look the same.
Exactly. And some people go, oh my gosh, you're so brave, Jonathan, or oh my gosh, you're so brave, Lacey.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just think, like, wait a second, this is just who I am.
Right.
And we have to understand that not everyone has that privilege, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So.
Or support. Even though I think to some extent you and I. Whoops.
Oh my gosh, I thought I turned that off.
Oh, you're good. No, I think to some extent you and I had to be our own support. Right. And find that, and then we created a support system by being open. You know what I mean? It wasn't always just there. I mean, to some extent, I think even though maybe my mom didn't understand it, she was like, how can I help?
Right. Okay, so that's the privilege thing.
Right.
And then the other route for how I open up and like where, so your question is like, how do I get to the outside of that fear of like getting acceptance or like being understood?
Not acceptance, just opening up.
Right, opening up. Okay.
Yeah. To talking about it, to seeking help, whatever it is.
The first thing that I would do, like something that really helped me in life, was finding someone that was similar to me.
Yeah.
Who could relate with my pain. And I learned that not as like my mental health situation, but more so as like a person of color. So when I went to school, all my teachers were white or all my classmates were white. I would live in Fallbrook. But when I finally went to and I got accepted to college, a lot of my professors and people that looked like me, were there. And I was like, oh, cool. They're here. Then I belong here.
Yeah.
And so finding that commonality there, then I was able to open up about who I was in that race. So if you're struggling through mental health, like what I do, that really helped me when I began to like really understand like what this mental health issue was, like what manic depression was.
Right.
I went on Google.
Yeah.
And don't worry, Google was, still, it was available back then. Wait, I'm not that old, but I'm a millennial, not a Gen Z. And I wrote down like mental health support groups.
Yeah.
Or I went to, at the time, like a lot of forums, like on Reddit. And basically Reddit. Reddit helped me a lot. And reading about those people's stories regarding like mental health. Right. And then from there, going on Google and asking what books should I be recommended to understand who I am.
Right.
But it's basically through the support system of, this sounds so nerdy, but like Reddit, then also Googling, support mental health people or groups, in your LA city.
Yeah.
Or wherever you are in Nebraska, who knows where you are?
They have them everywhere.
Maybe you're in the Maldives. I don't know where you are, but basically go to those groups and see if you can start slowly opening up. Or
just even listen at first, and that might inspire you to
open my gosh, that will. But here is actually one little cheat system that I think is really good.
I'm so curious.
Maybe I don't know if it'll help everyone, but go to an anonymous club. So like an Alcohol's Anonymous.
Yeah, I've done those,
Or like a Gamblers Anonymous or like a Narcotics Anonymous or whatever.
Adult Children's of Alcoholics. Like that one's like an ACA.
Oh my God. You go to one of those.
I didn't even talk.
Groups.
I just listen.
You sit down and everyone just talks. And what's really great is that if you continuously go to these meetings, like a GA or an AA, you'll be at a point where the person who's leading the meeting goes, hey, would you like to speak? And so they're giving you agency out of every single meeting just to open up.
Yep.
And that will start giving you some sort of like practice to be like, okay, I can talk about it. I can talk about it. And listen, people might not listen to you. People might get bored. But by being in that anonymous group,
right,
someone is giving you agency to speak, and they're also giving you like a time limit. So that will just hone your muscle.
Right, and it is a total, I like you said, hone your muscle, because two things, it's a safe space to practice. And my sister and I were talking today about how we have to practice to feel comfortable about things. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to stumble talking about a new topic, but the more I talk about it, the more comfortable I'm going to get talking about it. So I practice, you know? And I think, you'll get more comfortable in that opening up that is terrifying. We'll acknowledge that fear and those feelings of, of rejection or feeling isolated or alone in those feelings. But it's a safe space when you're in a support group like that, especially if it's anonymous, to just say whatever the fuck you want.
Right. And that just feels so much better.
Oh, yeah.
And then hopefully from there, then you start, with your friend group, maybe one-on-one, like, hey, listen, I have X, Y, Z.
Right.
Can we just talk about it?
Absolutely. You know what I thought about doing? Because I saw this recently, and in my recent journey of my inner child healing, I have been,
child of your journey.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's so necessary though, to feel better and whole as myself and be less triggered, is to confront my trauma and reparent myself. But I go onto these specific Instagram accounts of really great therapists or and I will look in the comments of the posts that really resonate with me about like 5 signs that are, obvious of like growing up in an unhealthy family dynamic or whatever. And now they resonate with all of them, especially number 4. And then I'll look at the comments and people are posting parts of their story. And I'm like, well, my mom is a narcissist and my dad is the codependent. And I'm like, what? And I don't it makes me feel good to see other people opening up just in comments.
It's like, oh, you're doing this, I'm doing this. Okay, there is a world just like this.
Yes. And where people are talking about it, people are seeking healing, people are seeking connection and growth and understanding. And if that's what you're searching for, you can find it. And a lot of these therapists also will post that they want you to connect with the people who are being open in the comments. So feel free to DM each other when you see something that resonates. And I hope that, honestly, with This Is Temporary Podcast, our Instagram, I hope that people that are commenting or whatever, I want to
DM us, be like, yo, Jonathan, I suffer through manic depression and PTSD too. What up? And I'm like, hey, what's going on, my friend?
Seriously, I'm trying to be more available. I mean, we can't, when it's we can't get around to everything, and I don't have all the answers.
No.
But to our whole purpose is to let people know that they're not alone and that we are here to end the stigma, to help people to see that you don't have to be afraid to talk about something that's not your fault. Don't
be afraid. If anyone's listening, this is what I kind of always want to say to people that struggle through like mental health.
Yeah.
First off, this is what I say. You're not really struggling. Okay? I know you are struggling. Hold on, let me rephrase this.
Struggling means you're trying your best. What are you talking about?
Sorry. I didn't mean struggling. I meant I say, instead of I struggle through mental health issues, I go, I have mental health issues.
Yeah.
Because the have is so important instead of struggling, because every single part of your mental health issue is you. When somebody says, when you're on a high, oh, you're just on a high right now, when you are normal, let's like talk to Jonathan for a second.
This is me.
No.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is every single part of who you are, like your high is you, your low is you, your, when your equilibrium is there and you can like feel everything, that is you too. So accept that, but you are not someone that should be looked down upon.
Right.
You should be like, I have this mental health issue and I'm fucking badass because of it. Now I just have to figure out is how do I not maintain it, but how do I make sure that I can at least function in society.
Yeah, more manageable.
Right. Manage it.
Yeah, I have 2 things that come to mind in response to that. It's like, you want to be able to, okay, I guess first of all, this one's the one that wants to pop out first, so here it is.
It's popping out, guys.
That's what my brain does. Our brains do this. Like, you start a sentence and it's there, and you're like, okay, well, obviously
it's like, how do I get back? How do I get back? How do I get back? I don't know.
This is hypomania.
But I'm on a roller coaster right now.
I love it. I love riding it with you.
Yes. Oh, Close your eyes for a second, Lacey. We're dropping. Okay, let's go.
Dropped in. Here
Right. Ah!
So, my therapist told me, because I think I was trained to say mental health problems.
Ooh.
And that has a negative connotation.
Yes.
So, he challenged me to say mental health challenge. And you can say my disorder, my illness, things like that. But mental health challenges is nice because that puts you out of the spot of victim and into the spot of like
ownership.
Yeah. You're in control.
Wow, that's really good. I didn't think about that.
Right?
Holy shit.
I love names.
I usually say issues, but I like that.
Yeah, it's a challenge because it puts you in control of.
I have mental health.
Yeah, I've got a challenge. Everyone has challenges, whatever theirs are, and mine's totally valid. But it's something that I work on. It's something that is exactly a part of you, and every single version of you. This is the second part.
I like this.
Every single version of you is acceptable, and I've had to.
That's what I try to tell everyone that has a mental health issue. And
ourselves. We have to tell ourselves that when we're in that part of ourselves that isn't... Because Jonathan and I obviously are very bright and like...
Oh, but deep down inside, like I fucking... like last night, I okay, so...
Yeah.
With PTSD, I also have like... sometimes there's this thing called night terrors.
Yes.
Didn't mean to cut you off, I apologize.
No, this is your episode, Boo.
But, hey, I want to dance now. No, but I wake up sometimes with night terrors, and that's why like I always make sure that my nails are very short.
Oh.
Because, I don't want to wake up, and sometimes I have scratches.
Wow.
But because of stress and because of a lot of like things that are happening, I'm having like increased night terrors.
Yeah.
And so I like, as you could tell, like right there, I have some on my legs. This one was from like 2 weeks ago. I have some all on my chest. And so like even though like we're very bright, alone at night or deep down inside, I'm in fucking pain.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like something that you have to, it sucks again, not deal with, but that's something that you just have to, as I like to say, that's a challenge that I have to face. And so what I wish that in our society people knew this a little bit more. And because when I worked in corporate America and you're dealing with like these mental health issues, I would have to like wake up a little earlier so I could catch up with work, because I know that with my manic and PTS state, around 1 to 4 p.m. I can't get anything done because my mind is like in a different environment.
Well, you've learned your pattern,
And you have to work a little extra hard, like a little like more hours, or you have to restructure your life so therefore you're more manageable and functioning in society.
Right.
But what that ends up happening is like you're there, and then you get home, and it all like builds up. And so right now I'm trying to, well, not right now, but throughout my entire life, especially in the last 5 years, really try to figure out is like, okay, I can be bright in the workplace. I know how hard I have to push. I know how to manage a little bit, but how do I manage myself when I'm fucking alone and in pain?
Yeah.
And so that is one thing.
How do I continue to work? How do I continue to do anything productive when my feelings are so overwhelming, my thoughts are so dark that I can't move?
Right. And because I'm an extrovert, I have to rely on people to get me that high. But hey, listen, the world in itself, no matter how many friends you have, no matter who you're with, at the end of the day, you're alone. Does that make sense?
Well, you're with yourself. That's
with
why
yourself.
You have to
Okay,
love yourself.
There you go. You're with yourself.
Yeah.
And so it is that struggle. It is that challenge. I love that. It is that challenge of trying to figure out, all right, motherfucking Lacey. All right, motherfucking Jonathan. I'm alone right now with myself. What do I have to do? What do I have to eat? What do I have to exercise? What message do I have to say to myself to make sure that I am not going to fully crash?
Exactly.
Because regardless, with the medication that I have, I'm still going to have a low.
Yep.
And I'm still going to have that high, which is great because I'm addicted to both.
Right.
But at least I can go, okay, it's coming. How do I make this more manageable? Okay, let's open up my notebook and write like I love you. Or let's play this happy song that I love playing all the time that gets me going. By the way, if you're ever feeling depressed, sing out loud.
Which one?
Just sing out loud.
Whatever song. I sing the Beatles.
Yeah, out loud?
Yeah.
You should. That hits your endorphins
It
so
does.
high.
You know what else my therapist told me? I'm trying to find... Okay, just for the people who have the video from YouTube. This, right here.
She's putting the pen in her mouth, ladies and gentlemen, my boys and girls.
Bite a pencil, and it tricks your mind into releasing happy endorphins because you think you're smiling.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I used to get so low that my therapist or my psychiatrist was like, you have to drink yourself right now. But it works. It helps. It's like you said, sing, move, do something to, I think, and I said this to my friend Marvin, I think, was it Marvin's podcast? I don't think the opposite of depression is like joy and happiness and all that. I think it's momentum. I think inertia, like just get something moving.
Just get something moving. Okay, so in Gamblers Anonymous, what I learned, something that kind of like helps a lot too, is something called, it's called hate. Like when you're hating yourself, what do you do? Well, when you hate yourself at that moment, what does hate spell? Hate. So hate is hunger. So maybe you have to eat. Right?
I love this. Keep going.
A is anger, so it's like, what do I have to do to get that anger out of me?
I need to express it.
Right? Is it maybe going to a rage room? Maybe it's going to a punching bag, as long as you're not hurting somebody else.
Punching bags.
Right?
I love the boxing for that, yeah.
T is tired, so maybe I have to sleep. And then E is, it's time to exercise.
I love that.
Those are like maybe the four, like, okay, what of those four things? Hunger, anger, tired, exercise. What are those four things that I have to do? If it's anger, holy shit, I better express that. If I'm tired, holy shit, I better sleep. And if I'm fucking hungry, I better eat.
And eat something well.
Yes.
We talked about diet.
That is so cool.
I don't want to take you off your...
Oh, wait. Did you do a podcast with diet?
No, I want you to talk about... Because we've talked about how important it is to find what works for you. Because I know bipolar people, if we have too much sugar, too much of anything out of balance, it will throw your mood.
Right.
You know?
So, like, for example, gummy bears. Anything gummy.
Yeah.
Anything like those... like a Sour Patch, Jolly Ranchers, anything to do with like gooey candy, even though it's freaking addicting, once I eat it, I'll go into like, for some reason it feels like as if I took lithium, where I just feel like, ugh.
Oh.
But it's so addicting, so that sometimes when I cheat, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna just go to bed after I eat this wonderful gummy bear.
I'm so curious to unpack this because this is also the beauty of different things work for different people, because I am on lithium. What are you currently on?
Just lamotrigine.
Okay, so I've been on lamotrigine. It also is called Lamictal. I was on it at one point.
Right.
And it worked okay for me, but lithium has been my bread and butter to make me feel like me. But you know, I've tried other ones that were like, yikes, you know, and that's what you were saying. So for me, if I eat like candy, if I eat too much of it, I go insane. Like my sweets, people are like, you're like a child on crack.
See, I'm already a child like on crack. I'm like,
but
I feel the energy.
But you know how we can max out.
Oh yes.
On that.
Oh my god, we can. That's where you fucking crash.
So you crash immediately with all that sugar?
No, I crash like maybe it hits around 30 minutes.
That
to
makes
an
sense.
hour,
Mine's probably an hour, yeah.
And I slowly go. I don't go Energizer Bunny, which is strange.
Yeah, I do.
I go literally like, I don't know how to talk right now.
Wow.
Right?
It messes up your chemistry in your brain.
It does. And so also...
Yeah, what else do you have to be careful with?
I just like, that is like really big. When it comes to pasta, like heavy carbs will definitely take me out. But what can actually help a lot that I love is pumpkin seeds.
Oh, interesting.
Pumpkin seeds I love so much.
Is that vitamin A?
I don't know what I think it's vitamin K. Oh. Guys, I don't know. I'm not. But also omega-3s. So salmon helps a lot.
Definitely.
I take vitamin C every day.
That's a mood enhancer anyway, and memory helps with memory and mind fuzziness because we get that a lot.
Oh wow. Mm-hmm. Well, and it helps with your hair supposedly. So yes. So that's what. So my snacks include usually like almonds.
The way you say almonds.
That's how you say it, right?
I say almonds, but I'm from the South.
It's gonna be almonds, right?
I don't know.
Guys.
Tomato.
What I want you to do in the reviews when you give this 5 stars, remember this. You're going to go on iTunes while you're watching this, and you're going to go to Lacey's podcast at Temporary Pause.
I think we're on Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts, yes, it is. And you are going to click 5 stars, and when you write your review, you're going to write, I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this. That is why I love this review. 5 stars. But yes, how do you say it? Almonds or almonds? I think it's almonds. So those are my snacks. It's pumpkin seeds, almonds. It's vitamin C.
Yeah.
It's omega-3s. If I eat pork, holy shit, it is like bacon is so good.
Yeah.
But my face and my body will just feel so morose.
I don't really eat much pork either, to be honest. I mean, I will eat pepperoni pizza.
Yes.
I always opt for turkey bacon, but so many people around me eat it that I just can't think about it, because I definitely went like vegetarian for 6 years when I lived.
You went vegetarian? Holy shit.
I lived on the edge of a farm, and there were cows. A mama cow mourned her baby calf, and I just was like, that's too human.
Oh, I don't know.
I thought the empath in me was like, nah.
I'm Filipino, so I love meat.
Well, my psychiatrist told me I needed to eat meat for my blood. To feel better, so that's why I started eating it again.
No, that's exactly what I do. Like when if I need to like wake up,
yeah, you eat meat.
I will eat some protein. I will eat some red meat that I'll cook.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes, chicken makes me really sleepy.
Turkey is supposed to make people sleepy, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. But like nice thin sliced meat. Like if after a Korean barbecue, I'm like, let's go. I'm so happy. Let's go. We had Korean barbecue. But yeah, that's exactly what happens. I'm like, hey, let's go. So that's like my diet. I'm very careful, and I also have to figure out when I eat too. So when I wake up in the morning, since that is like, especially if I get a good night rest, even though I rarely sleep. But if I do, I wake up in the morning. Boom, it's like, I'm not going to eat anything because that's going to slow me down.
Sure.
So I don't eat anything until after 12 o'clock.
That's me, for the most part.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Same with you?
Well, yeah, I do a lot of intermittent fasting because my digestive system and my mood seems to work better with that routine.
Yes.
And again, it's trial and error, guys. You have to find what works for you, especially speaking to like maybe our more like teenage audience.
Well, hello, teenagers.
Hey.
Well, hello, Gen
Thanks for tuning in, literally everyone, because I know we've got a range, and I appreciate that because I think all this information is applicable to everyone.
A range. I'm thinking of golf for some reason. You got to swing those. Anyway, go on, sorry.
But yeah, it's like we are learning as we go. This is trial and error. Different things work for different people, but you got to find out somehow. You know, I've tried. So I've been vegan, I've been vegetarian, I've been gluten-free, and I just had to find a balance of a little bit of everything for me personally to feel my best.
It's like that movie Runaway Bride with Julia Roberts and Gene Hackman. No, not Gene Hackman. Richard Gere.
Yes, Richard Gere.
Sorry, Richard Gere and Julia Roberts, where she didn't even know who she was, and then what she decided to do was she decided to try all the different variations of eggs that are out there, and her favorite egg became either poached eggs. Is it poached eggs? Yeah, poached eggs. Those were her favorite type of eggs. And that's exactly what y'all have to do is, listen, like Lacey and I, we've been through this a lot. And I'm talking, for me specifically, I've thrown phones, I've cried, I've almost killed myself a few times. I've thought about it. I've done so many hurtful things to other people, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of trial and error, definitely.
Yeah.
One thing that has helped me a lot, actually, since this whole quarantine, so is that, I'm an extrovert and I'm fucking feeling down a lot. Besides calling random friends to do FaceTime for 5 minutes and going, hey, you want to play a game? And they do a game.
Yeah.
To the left of you, as you can see right there, I put a little... So what I did was I put a little construction paper that's kind of like pinned on the side of my wall, kind of on a stand. And I wrote the words. It's better if you write it. Don't write it yourself, so that way your brain is ingrained with.
Yeah, you're right.
And I wrote "You're beautiful" with an underline. And oftentimes I forget that it's there, and so then I'm working on my desk, and then I'll just look to the left and I'll see it. I'm like, God damn it, Jonathan! you motherfucker! I am beautiful. I am beautiful.
Yeah.
So I don't know write that down somewhere. Maybe write down a message when you open your closet.
You're right.
It's like it says, "You're fucking amazing."
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I used to do in high school and in college? I would take expo markers and I would write affirming messages on my mirrors.
Oh, I like that.
And the windows. And so, and it would change. I would sometimes leave. Okay, funny story. During one of my worst depressions, I was like so ready to kill myself.
Right.
I think I was 20 or 20. No, I was 21.
Holy
and
shit. Sorry about that.
And yeah.
Well, you're alive right now, motherfucker.
Yes,
Let's go.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I held on. Because I was alone and I was on the floor of the living room of like a duplex that I shared with some other college girls, I guess, that weren't at home or out of town or something. And I was just screaming in my pain, and then I went silent and I was like, okay, fuck this. And my hand literally just, I don't even know if I was fully aware of what I was doing, but there was this like cute framed chalkboard I had, and I don't know what was on it before this moment. To be honest, it never was significant before this moment, but I just went and grabbed a piece of chalk from like my stationery section, and I just wrote, it's going to be okay.
I like that.
And I never erased it.
Don't. Oh
it's
my
like
gosh.
so many years later.
Words are so powerful. You know, so a lot of people, they used, I learned this when I was like around like 11 years old. I was like at this weird priest. I was doing confession.
Oh.
Yeah. But I'm not religious anymore, unfortunately. But this was a good lesson.
Why do you say unfortunately?
Because people that are listening that are religious, I guess, I don't know. Everyone practices their own thing. I'm not judgmental towards anybody that's not religious.
Yeah, I just want, because I'm very similar to you. I think that we both used to be very religious, and I'm still very spiritual.
Hey, listen, I'm very spiritual. I believe in hallelujah, of course, the gods. And hopefully my grandfather's up in heaven, and when I pass away, hopefully we can look at each other and give each other a hug, because I absolutely adore him.
Yeah, I'm praying the same when mine passed away a couple months ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Same.
Oh my gosh, did you do I love you too. Did you do like a Zoom funeral since you were quarantined?
I flew home.
Oh, and you actually
I got stuck in Nashville. Yeah.
And they actually did like a funeral.
It was right before quarantine started. Quarantine started, I think, on March 16th.
Oh, wow, okay.
His funeral was the day before.
Oh, wow, so you got so lucky. Mm-hmm. My friend just passed away, and we had to do a Zoom funeral. So that was like, God. Imagine being, like, he was just alone. And everyone's just like on Zoom.
That breaks my heart, because it's so hard, quarantine in and of itself, and there's so much grief and loss in multiple forms: a loss of jobs, a loss of routine, loss of people. But
loss of life, you're alone.
You're not even, if you lose a friend and you can't even go to a funeral to enter into the mourning grief process.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I'm imagine the chat of like emojis and jokes. No one did that, but man, I really love that guy like a lot. But anyway, sorry. So what was I saying? Oh yes. So with the lesson that I learned, a lot of people, you know, they write like "don't fuck up" or like "don't be a dumbass," right? Mm-hmm. Well, when you see the word dumbass and when you see the word "don't fuck up," even if the words before it say "don't," your mind is going to be fixated on that negative word.
Sure.
So just keep on surrounding yourself with uplifting words, because you have no idea. Whenever I'm about to give up sometimes, late at night as I'm working on my computer, editing this freaking ad commercial for a company that I don't even like sometimes, okay? Yeah. I look to the left and I say, "You're beautiful," and I feel a lot more relaxed, because number one, I wrote it. Mm-hmm. So I know that I'm speaking to myself.
Mm-hmm. And
like,
it's powerful.
Yes, it's powerful when someone writes you a letter and says like, "You're great." And like I said this earlier this morning, my mentor like gave me like a wonderful message. Yeah. And you know, my love language is affirmation, and so therefore that's great.
Right.
But that's only a small kick of a dopamine.
Right.
It's like a simple like on an Instagram. That only lasts for some time.
Yep.
Remember, at the end of the day, you are with yourself.
Yeah.
And so, looking to my left and seeing my own words of "you're beautiful" is a reminder to me to remember and recall that moment where I was actually in love with myself. Yeah. And it is through that I'm like,
I can get there again. I can remember that.
Right. I do love myself.
And words are so powerful, and the connotations we put on them are powerful. And I know that, you know, the language of self-love is so important. And I grew up hearing abusive language, and my father would reflect it onto himself, because it's how he felt about himself, and then he reflected onto us. And and so, or like, you know, "You're ungrateful, you're a brat, you're stupid, you're this, you're that," you know. But oftentimes it's what he was feeling about himself, he would then throw out. It's what people do, you know. And so I learned from a young age, I genuinely thought, I'm just fucked up.
Right.
And I thought that, and that's why one of my core issues is rejection, because I feel like if people see the parts of me that aren't happy and glittery and bubbly and fun, that they're going to be like, "Oh, you know," because I've had people before be like, "Why don't you just smile? Why don't you just, you know, what's this version of you? Yikes. You know, I didn't know Lacey got like this." And before I had the words and the diagnosis to explain it, I didn't either. So I was like, wow, so I already am reinforced by my home life and by the outside that I'm too much, or I'm not enough, or I'm whatever. And so telling yourself like, "Oh, I'm fucked up," even if you're joking. That hurts.
That's why
and
when someone
that cuts yourself that much deeper, you know, it keeps the wound open.
And when someone says that, I'm like, no. I want to say
I
this.
catch myself too. I'm like, Lacey, you're good.
Lacey, I want to say this, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
What?
Every time you show up, my heart, I'm like, yes! I am like, yes, she's
Same
here.
though.
I'm like, let's go.
Same.
Let's go. Let's jump up and down for a second.
Yes.
Where's the invisible jump rope?
Yeah.
And that's what I love about you, is because not only do you provide that sense of like bubbly, ebullient energy, but when I first met you, I think the reason why we connected so much was because I felt the soul of you. Yeah. Because yes, you project happiness. I get that, and I feel that, but through that, I was like, wow, this person really cares about me. Yeah. Does this make sense?
But I felt it from you. You know, and I think that is why we clicked right away. It's why we talked about surrounding yourself with the people who celebrate you, not tolerate you, and making sure that not only you are reinforcing yourself with positive words, but you're around people who are giving you positive messages and that reinforcement, affirmation, and what's the word? I'm brain farting. But when you have someone who's like your friend who you can depend on to like.
Your like best friend, your mentor.
There's a word for it.
No, I have no idea.
I'm major brain farting.
What? I don't know that word. What's the word?
I don't know.
When you depend your life support.
No, it's just it'll come to me later maybe. I do this a lot. I start half sentences and then I trail up and I can't remember.
You shouldn't explain why you do it. Don't explain.
No, but I like that it like.
I like how we I like it because this is a conversation, and conversations we don't always have to stick with one topic, and we'll jump into it.
Touche.
You're fucking dope. This is what makes you so awesome.
I like helping people to understand different minds and the way that they work, and that it's okay. You know, it's okay. Like, oh, well, brain fart. Moving on.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. As long as it's not a negative thing.
No, not negative. I do this, but accountability.
Accountability partner?
Yeah.
Okay. So explain this.
I knew it would come.
She did it. So what is this accountability partner? What do you mean by that?
No, I just mean that I want different people value different things, but I know for my history of trauma and the way I've had to really take care of myself and speak to myself in the way that I don't know, just my journey in general of growth, I have to surround myself with people who I know will hold me accountable when I slip up and when I talk down on myself, and I can, it's that reinforcement.
I like that.
I want low boundary, like trusting, respectful friendships. I want them with everyone. It's just some people aren't healthy, and you can't have that because I'm an empath, and they'll take advantage of my empathy, and they'll.
Yes, you can definitely take. Yeah. People take advantage.
I come from a codependent family, so I'm like, they will be like,
hey, Jonathan, can you help me with this? Can you help me with this?
Exactly. I'll be like,
yes, and then pretty soon. But that.
And then they'll make you feel bad for their emotions, and that's not my responsibility. We're working on it.
That takes a lot of time, and usually it just comes in with a lot of just communication.
Exactly. Yeah. Right? And our own self-reflection of knowing how to deal with ourselves and others,
But that also takes a lot of courage too, because, to ask your friend that to help you out can be very, very, like, I get a lot of anxiety from it.
But it doesn't have to be.
A lot of very, very anxiety of it. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to. But I think to find that support system, yes, you have to talk about it. And what I usually say to people is, if you want to find a good support system and you want to feel loved how you want to be loved, give how you want to give, and then communicate. If you're not receiving it, be like, hey, I don't believe in like a quid pro quo, but this is who I am. I am someone that is, has manic depression. I have PTSD, and my love language is affirmations and then physical touch, right? So when I'm going through a low, don't really want you to fix me, but maybe give me the time of like a physical touch of a hug.
Let me know you're present,
right? And then I go, and then what can I do so therefore I can make it easy on you, because I know that you want to be you want to provide that support too,
right?
So that way I'm not burdening you.
Well, you're taking responsibility by communicating, and I love that. And that's what we've done. The longer we've sat with ourselves in our diagnoses and understood it and our patterns better, the more, the easier it is for us to communicate it to others.
Right.
And to know how to go about it. Because it definitely, all of you guys who are experiencing maybe things for the first time, it is uncharted or uncharted? Chartered.
Uncharted territory.
Yeah. And It is tough, it is choppy, and it will continue to be choppy, but don't let that deter you from the hope that it will get more manageable with time, and that you're not alone, and that there are beautiful benefits you can take from insight into your experience with your mental health diagnosis.
I think that what you go through with mental health issues is not always negative. It's so positive.
There's so many positives.
It's so positive.
Especially if you're finding your passion alignment with it.
And if you can grasp onto that, God bless America. It is time to go out and explore your high, right?
Yeah.
But again, like what Lacey was saying, it takes time, and it's all about management. Here's something that I started doing. I'm just telling you, like, all my different practices.
I love this. This is what you're here for, Boo-Boo.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, my beautiful people, hopefully I'm throwing out some tidbits that have been helping, like going to an anonymous club, or writing you're beautiful, or you're amazing, or maybe even having a mirror and saying every day, like,
daily affirmations.
Right, even if you don't believe it at that moment, there's a lady that says, like, the more you act it, you'll become it. Right? Not fake it till you make it. The more you act it, you'll become it.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that I've been doing since 2013. Is there's this site called futureme.org.
What? I've never heard of this.
And basically, you can write a letter to someone or yourself in the future.
I have done that, but I did it on pen and paper, not online.
So what I'll do is every year at the end of the year, I'll write something. And when I first started, like in 2012, 2013, it's like, Jonathan, hopefully you accomplish all your goals or whatever. But by 2015, like 2 years later or whatever, I was like, I'm going to try something different.
Yeah.
And instead, it went like, Jonathan, dear Jonathan.
Yeah.
I want to let you know that, yes, you may have had these goals this year.
Yeah.
But no matter how far you've gone there, know that I love you. I know that you tried your best. Mm-hmm. I know you're going for it. And remember, you're worth it. Something along those lines. And
I love that so much.
And like I said, like I have, my brain, just like yours, all over the place. So I end up forgetting. And random times during the end of the year, I'll get like a letter. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
What did I say? I click on it, and sure enough, it's like there, and I'm like, you motherfucker, Jonathan, you son of, I love you so much.
I love that so
Jonathan,
much.
You're so good.
See, that's the good thing about the online one, is it's going to send it to you.
Yeah, it's going to send it to you.
I love that, because you can lose the other stuff. And I like that you offered the option of doing just a letter. Because some people are and I get this, some people are intimidated by journaling.
Right.
I am too. I go in and out of phases. There are phases where I'm journaling every day, and then phases where it's like once a month, or when something seems like poignant, I'm like, I'll write that down. That stood out.
Right.
But and those are great to look back to.
Journaling is great. Yes,
because it reminds you when you're in a deep place. Hey, I was in a good place 2-3 weeks ago. I can get back there. Right. Not backwards in time, but I can get back to a good place. Right. I can get forward to a good place.
But sometimes I feel journaling can be a little performative sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's like, maybe someday someone's going to read this. Oh yeah, so therefore
check yourself.
It's like, it's hard, because it's like, do I have to write about my full day?
I feel that.
Do I have to be descriptive? I'm not saying it's bad. Like I journal sometimes too, and it's all over the place. Yeah. But that was probably the biggest obstacle that I've ever had to face, was because
I didn't think about that.
I'm a performer. I'm a performer. I love. I'm in commercials too now. Right. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I'm like, am I being performative right now? But that fucking futureme.org. Yeah. That's one email.
Yeah.
And that is
and you write it in a moment where you're feeling really authentic,
Right. And I forget about it.
Everyone should go do that right now. I think I'm going to do it today.
Yeah. So not only are you going to go to the Apple Podcast and give a 5-star review to, this temporary podcast, but also you're going to go to futureme.org and write yourself a letter. Be real with it, but end with some like hopeful, positive things. And then schedule it maybe for like 6 months. Yeah. And then just forget about it.
And you can do like notes on your phone too, so it feels less formal. I'm not saying I think I'm saying another option to journaling, because journaling can feel formal.
Oh yes.
But I also was gonna say, I've started to record voice memos as well. And I'll just record. I mean, it could be a 1-minute voice memo. It could be an 8-minute voice memo.
Yes, I think I.
But it's like just an oral journal entry, and I do go back and listen and remind myself of them.
Yeah, I think I have. I like that. No.
Did you have one?
I think I have one. No. I'm not gonna. I think. Think up. Think up is called.
Think up. I'm not sure.
No, dang it. I used to have. I don't know about my phone. Let's see if I still have the app. But basically, I had this app where you can give yourself a voice memo, and it plays like this wonderful music. And as it plays, your voice gets heard, affirming yourself. Oh my gosh. Jonathan Gaurano,
While you search for it,
did I delete it? I deleted it.
Oh, it's okay.
So sorry.
But again, these are all things we're saying that have helped us, and that are continuing to help us, that we recommend to work on loving yourself and accepting yourself as you are. And I do think because of the stigma around mental health, there's that extra layer that makes it extra difficult for us all as humans to feel okay in our skin, whether you're in your mania, your hypomania, your deepest depression, whether you're in the middle of an eating disorder and you really can't find the words or the feels to love yourself, or an addiction and you're feeling shame because of it. Whatever it is, guys, every version of you
is beautiful.
And acceptable. There we go. But the power that we have found and the freedom here and that we're still working on is that we are that voice for ourselves first. And an exercise I did with some friends was writing down everything, like that, all the negative voices you hear that poison our minds, especially in your depression, like I am this, I am that, and you're just like, I am too much, I'm not enough, I am ugly, I am that, I am I'm loud, I am crazy, I am whatever it is, I don't fit in, whatever it is. And then we sat with that, and I did it with 2 other people, and then we went through and crossed it all out, and went through and started writing all the affirmations about ourselves instead. Like so like you said, there was something very physical involved because words we matter. Wrote it, you know?
You have to write it. You have to put it down.
Yeah. You're manifesting. And in the same way that during the deepest depressions I've had, and I don't know if anyone, I don't know how you struggle with body dysmorphia or eating disorders?
No.
Okay, so I definitely have struggled with that, especially when I was a teenager. And especially like even 18, 19, but I would grab myself in the middle of my depression and I would fluctuate, and my body was never good enough for me when I was in that place.
Oh, wow.
You know, it didn't matter how tiny I was, how much weight I had gained, it didn't matter what size I was, what I looked like. The point is I had dysmorphia, and I had to love myself, and my therapist kept telling, my psychiatrist kept telling me this, and I just couldn't get past it because I was so stuck in it. But it's like you said, the act until you believe it.
Right.
I would literally look in the mirror at myself, sometimes butt naked, and I would grab myself everywhere. Wow. And I would just be like, I love you. This is beautiful. You are beautiful. I love me. I am beautiful. And I would just speak all these words over myself, and I would cry while I was doing it. It's a very vulnerable thing when you hate yourself.
I need to do this shit.
Right?
I'm so insecure.
I was too. And I still have my insecurities, but I'm the
5'7",
acceptance.
and
you
I'm
know,
not like a tall 6'2" dude that's like super ripped.
Do that. Force yourself to do that in the mirror, and it feels silly. And then it starts feeling really uncomfortable.
I'm gonna touch every body part. You see every single body part. I'm like, I love this and I love that.
Go have a good relationship with your body, guys. You know, because it's the one you got, and it is exactly the way it's supposed to be. So, that was another little exercise.
No, I like that exercise. Holy shit, because one of the biggest things that I very, very cautious of is 2 things. Like, since I don't sleep, is eye bags, my smile, and my hair. Right?
What?
Right.
Okay.
And so,
isn't it crazy how it's always like the stuff in your head is people don't perceive what fucks you up? You know what I mean? What you focus on yourself. You're like, I never would have thought that about you. You're like, well, welcome to my world.
it's so, and so I think doing that exercise would be like,
it's powerful.
Oh my God.
I had to do it every day, and I would get mad at myself because I didn't believe it. I didn't believe that I was beautiful. I didn't love myself.
Lacey, you're beautiful. Okay, so here's something. So we're talking about like, opening up, and we're talking about like finding that support system. Well, here's the thing too. My mother said to me something really cool in 2018. I was sitting down on a stairwell, a wooden stairwell in the patio of where I worked. And I called my mom, and I was like, even though I don't have a close relationship with her, but I just called her for some reason. I was like, Mom, like I'm doing well in work right now, which is cool. but why couldn't I get here faster?
Oh.
Why did I fuck up and all these things? Why did I go through everything that I went through? And she goes, Jonathan, if you think about it, though, this is a very good thing.
Yeah.
Because when someone is struggling through the same things that you did, you can be there for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, yes, find a support system of people that can be there for you. But the best way to do that is be a support system for other people as well. Because you're going through all of your pain because in some weird universal way,
it can be used to help.
You can use that to help others.
Purpose in the pain.
You could save someone's life just by being able to be supportive of someone, because you're like, oh my gosh, this person, is going through a mental health issue. I know exactly what has helped me. You know what? I'm going to sit down with this person and I am just going to listen.
Yeah.
Because one of the biggest things that, I don't know about you, but what I've learned is in the first beginnings of someone's pain, they do not want to get fixed. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's for me especially.
But also, I don't think we should be approached to be fixed.
That's what I mean.
Right? Yeah, I always tell people, don't fix me, just sit with me.
Just sit with me.
Listen, be there.
Right. And so I learned that, and actually one of the most romantic moments that I've ever had was this girl that I was dating at the time breaking down. She had a eating disorder and a lot of things, and oh my god, I loved her, whatever. Anyway, she's taking a shower and I can just hear her crying, right? And I opened the door and I just hugged her in the shower. We just sat there, and that is when I learned, like, oh my god, if in this moment we're not saying anything and we're just holding each other, because you can't really say anything while the shower's pouring down, there's a lot of noise and she's just crying, then I decided, okay, why not just use this as an exercise? And now anytime, like, my friends are crying or they're breaking down or someone's going through an issue, I go, okay, they just need to be held.
Yeah.
Or they just need
someone to be right there with them.
Like, one of the most powerful words that you can say to someone or someone can say to you is, I hear you.
Or I see you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Those 3 words, I hear you or I see you, and actually knowing that they mean it.
Right.
Oh, just takes that breath out of my soul for a second.
Oh my gosh.
And that is something that I have conversations with my friends. This might be a stereotype amongst males, I guess.
Yeah.
In this heteronormative world.
Dive into it.
I feel a lot of men, we have this, mindset to fix a problem right
Absolutely.
away. And so it's been a lot of conversations with, my male friends, be like, yo, listen, I don't want you to fix me right now. I just want you to listen.
Yeah.
But then how I've been convincing a lot of them is like, dude, if you want to be, like, really attractive to girls, when they're going through some shit, don't say anything. Just be there and hug them. Watch them love you even more, if you know what I mean. And that's like helped, our circle a little bit. But yeah, so I hear you, I see you. And then after that, then guess what? That person that's opening up to you,
right,
they're going to press forward and go, okay, now what do you suggest?
Right.
Wait for them to go, what do you suggest?
Yeah, well, then you've given
trust.
You've given that person the trust and the time to let them know, hey, I'm going to sit with you in this. So then you feel safe, emotionally safe. I can't tell you how many times I've had to explain to people in my life who love me that I have to feel emotionally safe. And it's not just because of my deep, dark feelings of that bipolar brings me to. It's also because of my trauma. It's because of sometimes situational. And
it's a feeling sometimes. It's just like an energetic feeling.
But just knowing that
energy feeling.
Yeah, that person is going to be there with you. I mean, literally, like you said, you don't have to say anything, and I automatically have the safety to move forward in saying, okay, I sat with that emotion. You sat there with me. Now I can try, if I need to, I can try to find the words to see what's next.
Yeah,
if you can
words.
help me, or
exactly.
if maybe I'm good now. Maybe I just needed to cry it out, you know?
Oh, dude, cry it out, man. Cry it
It's a
out.
real thing.
But yeah, you know, I play Ariana Grande Moonlight whenever I'm feeling sad. Then after I cry it out, then I'll make sure that I play some happy music. But
So that's your go-to sad song?
Yes, but now I just read somewhere where you don't want to play sad songs when you're sad, so I will play Broken Bells. I will play.
I think it depends on what it does for you.
Yeah.
Because I don't ruminate on sad songs and like sit around with them, but I occasionally, when I am really dark or really moody and broody, I like to sing with songs that the lyrics express exactly how I'm feeling.
Yeah. Oh God.
Because I expressed it now, and now I feel like I got it out.
You have to. You have to let it out. You have to let it out some way. I used to like tear T-shirts.
Oh, I love that. You have to have things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I would go to boxing a lot because I needed it.
Running helped.
Yeah, running.
Me.
See, this is another thing I have to be careful with because I was, well.
What happened? Did you break your leg?
Well, for a short spurt. I think, honestly, my body was protecting me by making me get shin splints or knee problems or ankle problems when I would run, because I would run too much. I was what is like maybe like Urban Dictionary described as runorexic.
Oh wow!
Where you were running too much and not eating enough to give yourself the nutrition you needed.
How did you balance that out?
Well, it was oftentimes during times of my life where I was in a household, whether it was with my ex-husband or my my family, where I didn't feel in control, and I felt it was just a very toxic environment. So I had to get out, and I would just run and run and run and run and run and run, and I would wear myself down. But see, if you can find the balance,
so hard. It's like always trying to find that balance.
But that's the bipolar problem. Not problem. The bipolar challenge is to find the balance.
That's such a fucking good word.
Challenge. I know, because it puts us in control. We have participation in the challenge. You know, we're not the victims.
I think what helps is like I'll put my to-do list.
Sure.
And I'll say eat, sleep.
Yeah.
Water.
Hey, I do the same thing, and it feels good when you cross it off.
Because it's just not a to-do list of like things that you need to do, but things that you need to stay healthy for yourself.
Yep.
Like, when I was an Uber driver and I was driving someone and I was like really tired, I remember this passenger just going, "Hey, just listen to your body. Everything will come together. Yes, you may have to work a little harder, and I get that. Right. But just listen to your body. And when your body says, I am done right now, go to sleep. When your body says, I need to run right now, run. You're right. You're right. You know, so listening to my body has been like the most powerful thing that I've really been practicing since the last couple of years, especially. I agree. Because I have during quarantine, I'm working at fucking home, and what's the divide between work and home life? And there's none. Yeah. So I've had to just think, okay, Jonathan, just listen. What does my body say? Go to sleep. Yeah, this deadline will be pushed tomorrow. Whatever. I'll get it done. Yeah. Because. Well, you know, I know me. You know what you're capable of, and you know that if you will be more productive if you give yourself the sleep that you need. It's like you said, back to the HATE, and what those take are the hunger, the anger, the T was tired, or do you need exercise? It's like, you know what will fuel you and what will make you run on empty and make you eventually burn out, which we want to avoid at all costs, because you and I definitely have gotten to the point we're at because we have burnt out before. Oh my God. Many times. And we've learned from it. Dude, last summer in fucking May of 2019, I was working my ass off, and right there in that corner, I collapsed and I fainted. And I woke up like a couple hours later, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing something wrong. Yeah. I need to put my self-care first. My routine. Exactly. Have you ever been, maybe it's because I'm an Enneagram 4, but I get really envious of other people's stability and of how other things seem easier for people. And I'm like, well, other people can just drink if they want. Other people can just stay up if they want. And I can't, because with bipolar, I feel like thrown off for 4 days if I try to drink more than a glass of wine, or if I try to, but I want to be fun, you know? And so I'm like, but if everyone's drinking and playing drinking games, I want to play, but I just know I can't. Or I can't stay up, and I know we're fun without the drinks. Right. So I might substitute for water. Oh, I don't drink. That's right. I don't drink any. I try not to. Okay. Yeah, because I go in and out. There's only one time where I celebrated back like a month ago, and I haven't drank in like 8 months, but I had to take the shot for something completely amazing. But yes, I don't. But it doesn't mix. It doesn't mix well with our medicines. No, it doesn't. And I don't even mean like get drunk. I just mean have more than one for me, because I
have really struggled with feeling like, should I just rule it out altogether?
Oh, dude, when I drink, I know that the next day is going to be like shit.
That's the thing. It throws you off. And then
when I smoke weed, I also think, okay, if I smoke weed, that means I can't function for 2 days. Is this hit gonna be worth it? So it's like a plan.
It is a plan.
That's why everything's a plan.
It's a trade.
Sucks.
It's something you have to be aware of. But know that if this is your reality as well, you don't have to feel shame over that. You don't have to feel like you're missing out because you are who you're supposed to be.
Dude, people would love to have your highs. People would love to people
or to have the compassion that comes with lows.
Right. But no, do I get jealous?
Or envious, rather.
Yeah, I think
jealous is
definitely,
than envy.
but not really envious. Okay, so what really helps, I think, if you want to be a good support system for others and you want to be a good support system for yourself and you want to get through this, lack of judgment of others and coming in with like no expectations and trying your best to look. Like when I meet someone for the very first time, I try to look at the most beautiful thing about them and then I fucking say it, even though if I'm so much in pain, but I know that by saying it, then they can provide some sort of like positive feedback back, which gets me positive. So in reality, I'm just being positive so I can feel positive from somebody else.
Well, it's back to that act and believe. I love that.
But do I get jealous? Yes, but on a different level. I get jealous mostly on, not jealous, but envious maybe of, okay, so I'm a person of color. I'm Asian American. I'm 5'7", right? Yeah.
I love the brownie.
Right. But the reason why I mentioned my height and kind of like my dark Asian-esque per se is because, in my life and where I've grown up and the environment that I've been in corporate America and just in general, from, being viewed as other, from microaggressions to seeing someone who has said or done things or acted in the way that have acted just like myself and yet are lauded and praised, I sometimes go, I wish that I wasn't seen as other based on my skin color and based on what I look like, even if it's subconscious, even if it's, like a subtle, that is a pain within itself, which provides a lot of mental health energy too, because not only am I dealing with my manic depression and PTSD and trying to function in society and trying to manage it so that way people around me are like, not always taking care of me, but I also have to confront the, inequalities of treatment based on the subconscious bias that someone may see like what a man should be or what is proper or what is seen as accepted because of like the face that I am.
Right.
And so that is something that I struggle with often.
Yeah.
But I'm very, like, I understand like kind of like the privilege that I have where I am so fortunate enough where like to be on this podcast or just to be anywhere to where I can be have the privilege to be, I don't want to, like, this might toot my own horn, but articulate enough.
Yeah.
Right? Loud enough, vocal enough to, be as almost in the same level as these other individuals that get treated better in society because of how they look like, right? But this can only make me think about people that look like me, that are brown like me, that are as tall as me, who don't have those, innate abilities to do that. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
But anyway, so do I get envious? Not of the people that are stable, I guess you could say, but more so people that have the privilege to be heard. Like, okay, if we want to get into the weeds of it and on a real thing, I'm glad that you're speaking out and I'm glad that you're talking about it. But yeah, when you first started this podcast, I was like, this is so fucking awesome. But my bias triggered in a little bit of that envious, like, she's a white woman, so of course that she's going to be heard a little bit more. Holy shit. But again, this is all training of like, okay, I have this thing, I have all these things, but this is just me.
Yeah.
I got to sit alone with this.
Right.
Let's not judge others. Everyone should have some sort of good intentions. Okay. All right, let's be proud of this moment right now because I know what this person stands for. So, to answer your question, envious, yes.
Yeah.
But I have to consistently check myself, because at the end of the day, like I'm saying with anybody that's listening to this that has some sort of like mental health challenge or mental health issue, that you would have no idea about how proud people around you are, and who are in a way sometimes also, you know, envious of you that you have accomplished XYZ. You might not think that you've accomplished much, but you have, and that's where like those letters come from. That's where You're Beautiful come from. I don't know if that answered your question, but
well, first of all,
does this make a lot of sense?
I am so happy you went there. You know what I mean? Because I am so sorry that has to be an extra layer for you. Like you said, that has to be something. I hate that exists.
Right.
This extra comparison, but white supremacy is real. You know what I mean? And the innuendo, it's like, I don't know. I haven't, and that's why I've had to face my white privilege this year especially. I mean, I guess I've known it's there, but I didn't know the words for it. I didn't know how much I needed to participate in the fighting back against it versus just sitting in it. Right. Because I used to be like, well, I don't really have an opinion on this or that, or I just want to stay neutral. And I was just like, Lace, you were scared to speak out.
You can't say neutral.
You can't. And so it's so important that, like you said, maybe I'll just keep this to myself. No, don't keep it to yourself. It's there. Call it for what it is. That's what we're doing. You know what I mean? And I'm thank you for sharing, because we have to understand where people are coming from. We have to hear each other out to know how to move forward in a way that feels the same for everyone.
It's better to talk about it than experience it.
Oh my God.
Right? So that's why I think we should definitely talk about it. But again, it's harder for some than others. And I guess what I'm saying is, like, people that are listening is, like, when you see someone going through some shit, you know, do your very best to say, like, what would I want at this moment? And how can I provide that? Yeah. And there's a lot, like we talked about, some exercises about, you know, listening, I hear you, I see you. And then after everything's calm, then they'll like fucking open up and they begin to trust you. True. And then you can start communicating back and forth. You know, sometimes people want to be there for each other so much where they're like, you can talk to me whenever, and that can sometimes like deter people off. Sure. Just let, like, things will happen by you just being there. There's a cool little saying from Sheryl Sandberg. Okay. Love her. She's the COO of Facebook, and she wrote Lean In. And she was on the Oprah's podcast. Okay. And she said something like on the lines of, when Oprah asked her, like, do you get a lot of questions about, you know, people wanting to be your mentor? And she goes, yes, all the time. But it's very weird in our society when someone goes up to you and says, can you be my mentor? Sure. And when you do that, in reality, it deters that person to ever wanting to be your mentor. Instead, if you come up and you just start asking questions already, if you go, hey, what do you think about this? Because you know this, it seems. Yeah. Right? Right. By having that thought process of just already making the stance of, hey, are you going through this? Right. I want to be there for you.
Well, asking those genuine questions where you can tell you want to know the answer.
Is going to be completely different than saying, hey, you could tell me what's going on. Right. Then it's like, here's a little joke that I always love to say is like, I'm washing the dishes. And then my mother comes in and she's like, Jonathan, can you wash the dishes? I'm like, what the fuck? I'm already washing the dishes. Now I don't even know if I want to fucking wash the dishes anymore. You know? What the fuck, Mom? So that's exactly kind of like the same mentality,
of your, because you and I have a similar like rebellious mentality of like, well, now I don't want to. It's like, well, now you made it awkward, like, or now it feels forced, I think, because we're very much like, we go with the flow and we want to do what feels right. You know, we're feeling driven. Exactly. So I see that where it's like, if you make it formal, that's why this podcast is informal.
Very informal.
That's why we don't plan.
Great job, by the way. Pound fist now this time instead of a high five. We're changing it up.
Yeah, but I didn't want to have any. I don't even want to have an agenda other than to end the stigma and to help others feel validated and seen and heard, which I think if you're going to have an agenda, that's a good one. But otherwise, we're not here to fix people. We can't do that.
We're just providing really cool suggestions.
Well, and we're just telling you from our experience. And there's no formula to this. We're just talking. And sharing our stories, and we hope that that will promote more conversations, whether they're on the podcast or off or from it. That's our goal, is to just help people to know
what they go through.
Yeah, and you can talk. You can feel free to talk about these things, and I do hope that everyone can find a safe space to find like-minded people that are there to listen, even if they don't fully understand.
It's very empowering. See we talked about this earlier, where you said like environment and also like the genetic portion.
Trying to decide the genetic predisposition versus the environmental and the trauma-based routes that can lead to different mental health diagnoses.
I definitely have like both, of course, like there.
Me too.
But like where my main trigger comes from, like where my PTSD comes from, is basically my father was like very physically abusive and also like mentally abusive.
I'm
like
so
fuck
sorry.
you. Yeah, thank you so much. When people usually say that, for some reason I always say it happens, but no, it's not supposed to happen.
No, it's
right? But the abuse that he did to me of like choking, throwing me against the wall and all that stuff, that like is triggering. But what triggered me the most is like watching him like beat my sisters and beat my
you felt
brothers.
Helpless.
And I was like, holy fuck, right?
Yeah.
And so, that's where that comes from. And then now I take that and I go, okay, wait a second. First off, number one, I can help someone that has gone through that.
Yep.
So now I can come in if someone's like, I've been abused by my father or whatever. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not right. But let's, like, tell me, right?
Right.
And number two, what I think is like important is like learning that even though I had this like trauma and this like pain, that person over there had their own trauma. And thank God that I had siblings that all got, okay, this is going to sound really weird for a second, but thank God that I have 6 younger siblings that all got abused, but they interact with the pain all differently.
Yeah.
And that made me realize that I can't compare my pain with anybody else, but what I can do is, because I've had this pain, I can empathize with a lot of different people that have different types of pain.
And you can sit with them in it and genuinely help.
And that will help you if you're going through any sort of like mental health issue, because now instead of coming in with like judgment of like, my pain is this, and so there I should be heard at, and you shouldn't because your pain is like so minuscule. Instead, it's like, I hear you, now you can hear me.
Right.
And so now it becomes like a trust of like balance, and that's what I hope that we can get in our society, where it's like more like a balance,
more empathy
of not my story is better than yours, but our stories fucking matter as well. So that is kind of like trying to find that,
right. And your pain matters. Every single person listening to this. I also want to call out people who maybe don't feel like they've had specific terrible things happen to them, but you feel really terrible and you feel the pain really bad. Whether you've been diagnosed or not, or whether you ever will be or not, your pain is valid, because I was invalidated at a young age, and I had to sit and not know what to do with this overwhelming pain that I was told was I was being a hypochondriac, or it was like, you've got such a good life, why are you, shut up and be happy. And it was like, no, if you're feeling pain, it is valid, and you don't have to explain it to anyone if if you know it for what it is, and you don't have to get into, like you said, the comparing of pain. You don't have to do that. Just don't, because that's not the point. The point is, you're not alone in your pain, and that other people are in pain as well, and that there's purpose in it, and that you will get through it. And
I get that. It's a little hard though.
It is.
Okay, because so like this, I don't know how much time, but I just want to unpack just a couple of things.
Yes, go for it.
That thought into like my mind. Number one, yes, you're going to speak out. Just watch out, because not everyone's going to react the way that you want them to.
I've said this before, and when I say that, I should be more specific. If you're going to open up, it needs to be with someone you feel safe with.
Right.
And if you don't feel safe with your parents or with your then maybe you do need to look for someone professional, or a counselor, whatever that looks like. Someone you can trust to listen, not to fix you, not to even. I'd be great if it was a psychiatrist or a therapist to help give you answers, but you need a safe space to express yourself and be validated. Everyone needs to be validated.
Just don't expect people to react that you want them to react.
Yeah, don't go in with any expectations,
right.
I guess.
That's like something that you have to kind of, take in, which I think is like very important. And then the other thing that I kind of wanted to break down is people think sometimes that empathy is, again, about, and I want to stress this so hard.
Yeah.
Is about like acceptance and affirmation.
Right.
And this might be a little controversial, might be a little like different, but I view empathy as just understanding. Like, you don't have to accept the person, you don't have to affirm them, you just have to understand them.
Well, it's a connection to the emotion they're experiencing.
Right. And that is,
you can put yourself in their shoes and say, I see you, I understand.
Right. And you don't have to necessarily like take time out of your day to handle their issue, because at the end of the day, right, like, let's say you're an actor and you're in a set. Yes, you're going through your downs, and I get that, but the production still needs to move on. Right. And if I'm a director at the moment and I see, let's say for example, you're having like an issue, I'll be like, okay, I get this, I empathize with her and I understand her at this moment. But we got to move production along.
Right.
I'm not going to roll my eyes at you or anything, but I'm going to go in and go, okay, how do we have to make sure that at this moment we definitely have to like push this through?
Right.
And so again, it's like this weird, strange balance, because being able to like speak out, and again being able to be heard and have people like listen to you and react right away, that is some sense of like privilege that not everyone always will have.
Right.
And so if you can figure that, okay, yes, I'm dealing with this trauma right now and I'm fucking in pain and I gotta speak it out. Okay, what is the practices that I need to do right now in these 5 minutes? Maybe it's like breathing in, inhaling for 4 seconds and exhaling for 7.
Definitely.
Whatever the fuck it is, okay, I gotta move. And then at the end of the day, when you're with yourself, it's like, all right, I have to unleash this out. Now let's talk to this safe friend. Now let's...
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because...
there definitely gonna be moments, and I think that comes also with
because the world's not patient.
No, and there takes just experience. I definitely, and I'm grateful that I am an actor, because for me the bipolar it serves me as an actor, and I can tap in and out and be someone else. I'm grateful for that it doesn't interfere with my work. It helps my work, but I know that it has definitely interfered with other things in my life.
Right.
And there have been, like you said, moments that aren't at your you can't always have everything at the luxury of saying, oh, I just need to stop everything right now and the world needs to stop for me. We will not always have the luxury of that. So yes, it's good to have things to turn to and to find ways to cope and get through the day or get through the job, and to do your best. And if you're absolutely at a breaking point,
stress ball that you have, or
something.
Tell your employer for a second, like, hey, I'm gonna take like a 30-minute break.
I was about to say, but learn your language and to communicate best with the people that are involved for your needs.
I'm so fortunate that I have this really cool friend named Morgan J. I love him so much.
I love watching him perform.
Yes, he's fantastic, and he's like one of my best friends, because we just told each other, like, hey, listen, like, hey, can you just you want to have lunch, but like I don't want to say anything to you.
Oh, oops.
And that's fine. And so he's like, I just want to have lunch.
Yeah. But
I don't want to talk or anything, and that's fucking amazing because of it.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
I fixed my microphone.
No.
Did I unplug it?
No, you didn't. You're good.
There we go. You're so great.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah.
And so finding like a good support system for that. But there's no expectations
there. Yeah.
But then you can't always do that at work.
Yeah.
And so
you find your time to set aside.
Yeah. Thank God for HR.
Yeah, and meet your needs so that you can find the balance that works for you. I mean, it's and don't.
It's a work in fucking progress.
Yeah, I was gonna say most of all, 2 things that come to mind: have grace with yourself, and something I posted on This Is Temporary's podcast Instagram today was progress, not perfection. Just give yourself credit for trying as hard as you are.
They say something in the startup industry a lot, or basically just like in any business. The success is little iterations of change.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, and you're gonna fail along the way. Failure is part of life.
Dude, it's so great.
So we gotta learn to be resilient and pick ourselves up.
It's learning experiences, Lacey. Fuck yeah. You know, like when I fuck up. Oh, I mess up sometimes. I mean, sometimes, guys. I mean a lot. Like and I try my best to say it's just a learning experience.
It is.
I know we're ending soon.
I know. Wrap it up for us. What are you feeling? What's your last words you want to say?
I don't know. I'm thinking of this movie called When Harry Met Sally.
Yes.
In 1980.
Is that Meg Ryan?
It's Meg Ryan, Billy Crystal. I think it's 1987 or 1989. I think it's 1989.
Look at your movie trivia.
I love it. It's my favorite movie of all time. And there's a moment where the character Harry and Sally, they're helping their friends move in into, this new apartment and place.
Yeah.
And Harry, he's angry at that moment because he just saw his ex-wife and he doesn't know how to handle it.
Okay.
And so then he has...
I can relate to that.
Right. He has like this massive fucking outburst.
Uh-huh.
And he stuns everybody for a second and he goes outside and then Sally walks outside and she's like, I know that you're going through pain.
Yeah.
But you can't always express yourself in the way that you want at the exact moment that you feel.
Sure. Your environment depends,
Right. And so that is probably like maybe it's from that movie I was discussing with my brother or whatever, but that is one of the biggest lessons that I've ever learned, which was, yes, I want to express this pain right now.
Right.
But sometimes I can't. And guess what? Once you find that great support system, you're going to feel so much better because that person that's listening to you or that little cardboard piece of paper that says you're beautiful or that Future Me letter or whatever that is, that's going to not only empathize with you, but finally that's the thing that's going to accept and affirm you in that moment.
You're right. I love that.
Right. And
I love that so
much. That's how I view my mental health issue. And it's difficult and it's hard because it's like I want to see it right now. But, thank God that for the past few years I've developed like a good network of individuals that I can be like, you don't have to say shit right now. Right. But this is how I feel. And I trust you.
Yeah. And it's so important to have that. And I want everyone to have that. And everyone is capable of having that. And everyone should know that. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here, Jonathan.
Hopefully, guys.
Tell us where to find you.
You can find me on the Instagram, Do Good Jonathan, or listen to my podcast where Lacey was just on.
I was.
She's fantastic. It's called Spill the Pho. That's PHO. You can find me on Instagram, and all the links are there. And you'll see a bunch of highlights of Lacey talking to me about the things that we talk about all over the place.
I love it.
I love y'all. Remember, we're glad that you're here. And on top of that, I just want to say thank you for existing. Thank you for living. And don't forget this temporary podcast because, hey, your problems are temporary. Yeah.
It's going to get better, guys.
Always.
And then it'll get worse and then it'll get better again.
It's fun.
We love you.
Love you too. Bye.